for your patience.
Okay, everyone, all ashore is gone ashore. Sorry for the lateness of the meeting, 7:06 I have. I will call this meeting of the Commissioners for Emergency Medical Services for June the 3rd at 7:06 to order. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty
and
and
justice
justice. Bow our heads for a moment here. Heavenly Father, please be with us this evening, helping us make decisions that are all. Please remember, especially this week of Memorial Day, all those who have given the for our freedoms, and please watch over those people now protecting our freedoms and their families. We ask all this through your Son. Amen. Stacy, you gonna do a roll call here?
Let me unmute myself. Commissioner Kirschner,
Here.
Commissioner Paradiso,
here.
and Commissioner Schuff is absent. He's attending the TSEP annual meeting.
Yes. Okay, welcome everyone. I will, as always, reading of the mission statement. After that, I'm going to let Commissioner Paradiso run the meeting. The mission statement is the primary mission of Seneca County EMS is to provide a professional EMS service at the most reasonable cost to our citizens. Our goal is to respond to all 911 EMS calls for service within 10 minutes in all areas covered by Seneca County EMS. And with that, Commissioner Paradiso, you're on.
Thank you. We, at our last meeting, we discussed the, within our EMS family, the sudden ruling that EMRs were not allowed to ride in the vehicles under any circumstances. And we had a lot of questions, made some rounds to the various districts, took some phone calls. I informed all of those that I've spoken with that I had talked to Eleanor from the prosecutor's office. Ken Majors has talked to her. There's, and the prosecutor represents all of us. It's kind of black and white language. And we still had a lot of questions. Are there ways we can get around it? What can we do? Is there a fade-in period? Isn't there? So to maybe have it better explained, we've invited the prosecutor himself on tonight. And so I'll turn it over to Derek Devine. Thanks, Derek.
Thanks, Commissioner. I'm not sure exactly what the specific questions are, but I guess as I understand the situation, the question is, comes down to how you define emergency medical service organization. And there's obviously a difference when you read the statute if you define it as Seneca County EMS or one of the individual joint ambulance districts as being the emergency medical service organization. When you read through the statute, and there isn't anything where I can point to you to a specific section that's the aha, but when you read the statute and you read through that section, my thought is that it's looking at the big picture, Seneca County EMS, because the way you guys are working together, you get services from the county. You have one medical director. There are various agencies within the county who are providing the service in their area, but you're all operating with under one umbrella of Seneca County EMS. And to my reading, that's the issue, and that's the controlling factor is you're under Seneca County EMS. You're not, AVR. You're not Bascom. You're under Seneca County EMS. So I don't know of a. I mean, in good faith, I can't tell you not to follow that statute the way it's written. If you want, I could ask the Attorney General for Attorney General opinion. That's not going to give you an immediate answer. It's not going to give you a quick answer, and I don't think ultimately it's going to give you an answer that's different than what I've given you. But that's the only, I guess, the only thing I could offer as far as some way to find a way around it or find a different answer. So I'm gonna listen for questions, and so shout them out.
Come on, you guys. Now's your chance. Ken, do you want to make a comment?
No, sir. I believe that Eleanor Anderson's opinion was correct.
Okay.
Well, and I just don't see I guess if you look at one sentence, you could say, aha, that's us, and we're on our own. But when you read the entire statute and you read the other sections, and in my opinion, that you're part of Seneca County EMS. You're not a standalone entity because you don't have a medical director. You're using Seneca County EMS resources and materials and leadership, and so I think you're part of the larger overall structure.
Okay.
Mr. Commissioner,
There we go. Yes.
Bob Farrell. This is as the third person they can run. Am I correct?
I'm not sure I understand the question, Bob. Can you say it again?
Well, you were saying that EMRs are not allowed to run on the squad. Is this as a second person or as a third person?
Yeah, I must have misspoke then. I'm the second person.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just clarifying that. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, and everyone has the section, right, that the prosecutor's referring to. Ohio Revised Code 4765.43, ambulance staffing. And if you don't have that, Derek can send it to you, or we'd be glad Stacy can send it to you if you would like it. But I think most of you should have it.
Well, and Tony, you said earlier, our office provides legal counsel to all the ambulance districts. So you guys don't have to wait to a meeting like this to ask a question. Feel free. If you haven't figured it out, you can call me, email me, and get an answer at some point. You can call or email Ellie Anderson, get an answer a little quicker, or you can call or email Amy Dunn at our office, and she'll get you information and an answer usually the same day. So call Amy, email Amy. She's at extension 6130 at our office. She has all the files for all the districts, and she has a memory. And if you got a problem in your district, more than likely somebody has had thoughts or processes similar, and she's able to remember. We dealt with that 10 years ago in Bascom, and she pulls out old files and correspondence and research, and we're able to put together answers fairly quickly. So if you got a question, don't wait for this monthly meeting. Get a hold of us, and we'll get you answers sooner than later. And in this type of environment, if you got the question, somebody else might have it too. So don't wait.
Anyone else want to comment? Steve Nader, did we? Do you have any other, you have any questions? Okay, so Commissioner Kirschner, should we move on? Derek, I don't want to take any more of your time, okay? I think you summarized it well, and you may get follow-up question or two, and that's okay, right?
That is fine, and I appreciate the opportunity. I have a murder trial starting on Monday, and I got grass that if I don't mow it tonight, by tomorrow I'm gonna need to get the rakes out. So I'm gonna get out there and get it mowed. So
Thank you.
thank you. Good night, everyone.
Okay, hearing no more questions, I think we don't want to overthink it. We invited Derek on. That's what we wanted to do. He was on, and so now we move to the next step. As we've done in other meetings, we kind of want to go down the list of the joint districts. I think Chuck Miller's on, Charles Miller. Lynn Love became a grandma last night, I believe. And they have a baby in the family, so she can't be here tonight. And Chuck's on, and Jeff Larrick, I don't believe is on. I talked to him earlier. He can't make it, but Charles, I'm sorry, Charles, if you want to maybe make a little comment on what's going on, you're merging, you're having some discussions, and you want to add anything, that'd be great.
Yeah, Tony, I guess at our last board meeting with Bloom and Scipio, just basically some growing pains and trying to figure this out a little bit more. And as we get down to the brass tacks here, just like I said, trying to figure out how this is all going to come about. Other than that, like I said, it was a productive meeting, but still got a ways to go yet. I guess I got one question on if you could clarify for me that if we hire the county's full-time personnel, that we have to hire both of them rather than being able to hire just one and running with a volunteer and a full-time Seneca County EMT. Could you explain to me again why we would have to hire two?
Well,
if you understand.
okay, that's a good question. Everybody's on, and we're trying to find some balance between Ken's job of hiring and managing 4 county employees that would be, in this case, lent out or sent out into the various districts. And a couple things we are requesting as commissioners, and that is that, yes, you take 2 at a time. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but one of them is, one of the obvious ones would be scheduling. We're okay with 12-hour days, 48-hour weeks. That's 4 12s in a row. Ken and the workers would like to ultimately get to a 24-hour shift. So instead of 4 12-hour days, if you took 2 people for 2 days, 2 24-hour shifts, Ken would be able, that would be a better schedule for us to hire people, et cetera. And there are benefits to that. So these are the discussions. I think where we're at is $25 an hour 2 people. We'd love 2 in the east and west, either 48 hours a week or ideally the 24. To get to the 24, you need quarters. To get to the 24, your coordinators, need to have a discussion with volunteers and scheduling and that kind of thing. But I think that's what we're requesting. Not that we can't have a conversation, but we're kind of settled in on that. So hopefully I'm answering your question, Charles. And Ken, if you want to make a comment, free, but I think those are the basic parameters, and then we just got to work out, are they going to be there every other weekend, and what those kind of things. But it works both ways, right? We want to try to accommodate the districts and the volunteers, but we also want to treat the full-time people and help kind of manage that in a reasonable fashion as well. So, Ken, you want to add to that, or is that sufficient?
No, sir, you handled it.
Charles, did I answer your question okay?
Yep. Oh, we're good, Tony. That clarifies it for me. So, yep, let's keep rolling.
Thanks.
I'm good. Yep, thank you.
And just for the record, you officially merge and becomes official on July 1st. So I give you credit for, having shadow meetings and having discussions and trying to hit that July 1st date with a little momentum versus just wait to that and then start talking. But so we keep rooting for you and just, you guys keep working it out. I don't know if anyone from Bloom Scipio's on. Jeff's, I don't think's on. Is anyone on from Bloom? Adam, you on? Rodney?
Yeah, Adam Lutz here,
Hi, Adam.
representing Bloom
You want to make any comments?
No, just real quick, we're extremely excited about the merger. And I think the meeting we had the other day, which also involved APR, was very productive. And personally, I'm very excited about the full-timers. And I think we have several board members that are also excited about it. So excited to see how that works out.
Great. Appreciate all your leadership, all you guys out there. So does anyone have any questions for any of these, for AVR, Bloom Scipio, any of the other districts? If not, Jim, you're next. Bascom.
This is Kevin Reinhardt. I'm talking for Jim.
Hi, Kevin. Good.
Hi. I talked to the coordinator tonight, and we're pretty well holding our own. We're still a little short on staff, but we're doing pretty good, she said. The 3 that we hired in-house, they are working out. She said it is making a difference. And we do have another EMT coming back on June 19th that we think will put us pretty much 98% in service. So we're looking forward to that, as long as we don't lose anybody else. So we're keep trying to do the best we can. And she says she is coordinating with New Riggle EMS, and they're kind of working together to make sure that at least there's a squad in service on the west side here. So we're kind of working together on that. And I think that's all I got.
Yeah, that's great. And we at least broke the ice and began the discussion of the west side of the county, i.e. Bascom, JLB, possibly New Riggle, but conversation on that side as well with our county employees. We're not there yet, but I'm looking forward to continued discussion. I will be at both of your meetings next week and the following week, and would like to continue that discussion. So I know you're open-minded to it, but it's not as simple as as I would like to see it. So I'm looking forward to having those conversations with you.
Okay, thanks, Tony. We want to be kept in the loop. That's the main thing. So,
Thank you.
okay, thanks.
Okay, Scott.
Yeah, I'd like to thank commissioners for working through this real technical issue as far as getting all the departments working together, which I know is difficult. I guess a couple things I have. I just want to make sure we still have a good relationship with the fire departments and stuff as we do this transition or whatever, because there was a lot of working together between the fire department and EMS. So I just want to make sure that we can keep that balance, and then looking forward to solving the issue with the west side of the district, make sure we get good coverage. So that's kind of where we're at. So that's where I'm at right now. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we need to do a better job we are separate from the fire departments, but we need to do a better job of communication with them and understanding how we are this two-tiered system, with fire first on the scene, then EMS and so forth. So I agree, Scott. This feels all the time that there's a lot of friction. There is some friction, but I don't think it's as much as it appears, and we need to do a better job of communicating out that, and that's something maybe when we get to the end, when we have our August meeting, we can all talk about.
Okay.
So thank you for bringing that up.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Good. Andy.
Good evening, guys. Believe it or not, I don't have too much tonight. I do have someone that wants to, Darrin Mack does want to speak. We'll either let him do that now, or we can wait till the end for public, whatever way you want to go there, but is on one of the lines here. So I'll let you guys decide that. Other than that, I don't have too much to say tonight.
Yeah, I think Commissioner Kirschner, I'm okay with it.
Sure, absolutely.
Go ahead, Darrin.
Hello, hi. I just have an observation about some of these meetings, and maybe this can spark some different thoughts of how we can move forward. But because we can't really have a countywide tax levy to pay for everything, so this kind of has to be because the majority of our voters live in Tiffin and Fostoria, so they wouldn't vote for this anyway. So we kind of need to form one district, I think. We need to merge all these existing ambulance districts together, also with the entities that are interested. Until then, we don't know who truly is in and who truly is out. We can't really talk about cost, locations of squads, and the operational plan until we know this. I believe that is the way to move forward as one entity and not 5 divided. I think it would better serve everybody. How would this work? What would the tax levy be? I'm not really sure because I'm not the elected official. But until then, I think we're doing good and moving forward. But I think that is the way to go. I look forward to the August meetings, and maybe this will spark some conversation towards that route of thinking. But thank you for letting me talk.
Yeah. Okay. This is Mike. You're right on the money with your thoughts there. What we had thought, or what our plan is, again, this is a 3, 4, 5 year plan that we have put together here. We thought that we would use, because they were ready, Republic, AVR, Bloom as kind of the beta site to determine exactly how much millage we're going to need in the future. So we thought that at least one of the districts we would cut our teeth on, if you will, to understand exactly what the costs are and how they need to be manned, and what percentage of time we would expect some volunteers and what percentage of time would be the full time. Once we got our arms around that, we would move forward attempting to combine all districts. I absolutely agree with you. The only way that we're going to get a millage passed is to be an ambulance district and carve out both Fostoria and Tiffin in that vote, because as you say, nobody from those two communities are going to vote for it because they're not going to pay taxes for something that's not going to positively impact them. So, what you had outlined is exactly what our plan has been pretty much from the beginning.
And I concur with Commissioner Kirschner said. And Darrin, when we have our August meeting, we're going to talk about that in a minute. We'll let Pleasant talk, Adams and Green Springs, and then we can kind of get into our agenda and how we would like our August in-person meeting to be. And I think, what you brought up will be one of the items on the agenda. So, yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Adam Greenslade, are you on, Adam?
Come on, Tony. I don't know if somebody else was going to say something first.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Darrin, did you have a follow-up statement? Or are we okay?
I do believe everybody's doing a great job. I was just trying to stir up some maybe different thinking if people weren't on along that line, but I'm very grateful for all the work that everybody's putting in. So thank you guys.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Adam, Bill Frankert wanted me to mention that he's not on the call. He's over at the SIDEC meeting. And so you're the spokesperson. So welcome.
Lucky me.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah. No, I appreciate Darrin's comments, and obviously that's something we've talked about for a while now, is trying to figure out how to get an ambulance formed countywide instead of trying to piecemeal everything together. I mean, he's right on the mark with that. Personally, I think we're conceding Tiffin and Fostoria too quickly. I think, maybe there's a way to make all this work for everybody. We've already talked about that in the past, Tony. And I think we just need to continue those conversations. So I feel like we are moving forward. I feel like we're turning a corner when it comes to Seneca County EMS. This is as far as we've ever got towards a solution as far as I'm concerned. So I appreciate everyone's willingness to try to look at other options. Thanks.
So Adam, this is Mike. Are you suggesting that possibly it could be a countywide in every sense of the word that would include Tiffin and Fostoria?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know for sure. I think we're conceding it too quickly without trying to think, like Darrin said. I mean, we got to think outside the box, and I don't know, maybe there's a revenue share with the tax levy that, the city supports the counties, or the cities support the county system. I mean, right now Tiffin is going outside of their area to cover parts of the county. Maybe there's a way to make it all work together. Certainly, in Green Springs, we looked at doing an income tax increase because we needed to fund police. Well, my thought was, why are we going to do an income tax increase if we need the money for police? Let's do a police levy. I mean, this would be an EMS levy for Tiffin. If they're looking for funds for other things within the city, is there a way for us to pass a countywide EMS levy that they get part of the revenue sharing, and it goes to support their EMS, and they can spend money on potholes instead with other parts of their budget? I don't know. I think it's things that we need to talk about. Again, I'm a firm believer in not raising taxes just to raise taxes, but to more look at it as a user fee. If we're going to ask the residents to fund something, again, when we were looking at this in Green Springs, council talked about a tax income or an income tax increase for police. I didn't believe in that because I'm not always going to be sitting here, and a future council or future mayor could take that income tax increase and do something else with it when what it was intended for was police. So if we're going to talk about like an EMS increase or an EMS tax countywide, let's talk to the cities and see if there's some way that we make this work. Money gets spent where it's raised.
All right. Well, yeah, and I appreciate your thoughts, Adam. This is Mike again. This isn't in any way a shot. This isn't a new concept. We have sat down and talked with the city, both Tiffin and Fostoria, but there was a whole lot of pushback when we did that.
Was there discussions recently? I mean, I guess we haven't been privy to any of the discussions. So
within the last 12 months, let's say, and maybe more seriously before that. No, there hasn't been we haven't got down to having any serious conversations with the countywide ambulance district because after it was mentioned a couple times, it just seemed like it wasn't going to go anywhere at all. And I don't well now. But.
You know, as we move forward, we can certainly circle back and approach the two cities and have some discussion with them. You know, at minimum, we have to work together, and you know, maybe there's something more than that. So
yeah, and I would just say again, and we've talked about this a few times. Vote for it. The residents won't vote for it. They've never been asked. The county residents have never been asked. I think until you put it to a vote, you're never truly going to know. These safety services levies, EMS levies, they do well because people understand what they're being used for. And, you know, as we've said many times, Green Springs could walk away tomorrow and we have Sandusky County cover us already because we pay taxes in Sandusky County to cover us. But we don't just stay inside our bubble in Green Springs. We travel to Tiffin, we travel with the Senate County Baseball League. Our kids play other places. We drive down Senate County roads. I know that a countywide EMS system and consistent level of care and 24/7 service is something that we need countywide. Again, Green Springs doesn't necessarily have to be part of it because we're going to have coverage within our four walls, so to speak, of Green Springs. But we need a global solution that's going to help the whole county. And we're willing to be part of that. And I would hope that, you know, Tiffin, Fostoria, and these other places might look at that. And if there's something in it for them, maybe they will. I don't know. Again, and maybe that's a pipe dream. But again, to Darren's point, let's think outside the box. And if that one district has to carve out the cities, so be it. But again, we're moving forward, and I'm happy to see that.
well, and I would add, in addition to that, we've got our friends in Eden Township, and we, you know, we're trying to basically work with what we have now. But I think you're onto something where we need to go to Eden. We probably need to at least have a conversation with Clinton and Thompson townships, and then the cities as we gain momentum with this whole thing. And you know, just have that discussion. This is the time to do it. So
one last thing I would say, Tony, is we all need to look beyond our own four walls, I guess. We need to think about that global solution, what benefits everybody in the county.
Okay, thank you. Before we go to old business, does anyone from any of the districts did something come to your mind while we were talking here? You want to say anything? Before we talk about the August meeting and public comment, I would like Commissioner Kirschner to give us an update on the fund. Stacy, I never get it right. The American Rescue Plan, is that right?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. So I'll yield to Commissioner Kirschner, and I think from my perspective, we've talked about this a lot. We are in a once in a lifetime place where we are all asked to have these discussions. The commissioners have some money that we are all willing to put towards EMS. We want to think this through. We want to make sure we leverage it, make a big impact while we do it. But we have some money. We have some current tax revenue coming in across the county. It varies. It may not be enough. We have volunteers. We have a lot of good things. We just have to, you know, discuss how we're going to continue to make this what we need it to be. So I'll yield to you, Commissioner, because it's pretty exciting now that we have the money and we're beginning to have some discussions. So,
well, I'm sure all of you have been reading the papers and know what the situation is, but very quickly, through the American Rescue Plan, Seneca County has been awarded $10.7 million. We get 5.35 this year and 5.35 next year. So everybody, and when I say everybody, I mean everybody across the country, is looking specifically at what the guidance is for this money. In Ohio, there is still some anticipation that townships may receive some of the money. However, government is not set up the same across the country as it necessarily is in Ohio. And by that, I mean, not all states have townships as well as counties. Not all states have counties. Some of them have parishes. So it's, it is a bit of a different setup. And that's why there's some confusion with where the township money goes. If the townships do not receive rescue plan money, we will probably, and have discussed this as 3 commissioners in open session, probably designate a specific amount to each township. We talked in terms of $100,000, and as everybody knows, there's 15 townships, so that's $1.5 million with quick math. The other thing that we know is that we're able to reimburse ourselves for some salaries for police protection and emergency services. If we do that, that money that we use to reimburse the county back to the general fund, if you will, for those services, that money could then be put aside to be designated for whatever we felt was the most important needs throughout the county. So this is kind of like changing tires on a moving car. Every time we read about it, some of the parameters change. Stacy Wilson is the resident expert. She sits in on most of the meetings. Of the 3 of us commissioners, we get bits and pieces, and we do our reading. But Stacy is the one who really is as up to date as possible. And then, as most of you know, we have a company called Highbridge that the county uses in Columbus to keep us current on whatever legislation happens to be out there. And we are relying on them heavily to let us know what we can and can't spend the money on. Stacy, I'll stop. What did I miss as part of that conversation?
No, I think that's right. That's there's been a lot of webinars. Julie, I think, has sat in on most of them that I've sat in on, so we talk quite a bit. But there's a lot of parameters. There's a lot of differences between the old coronavirus relief fund and this round. So we're just working through that. But I think you nailed the short version.
Okay. Well, and again, I will repeat this, and I apologize because I do repeat myself. The 3 commissioners have said as a group that our priorities are police protection and emergency management services. So take that for what you will. We have an opportunity to build a great foundation here for a countywide ambulance service that we would not otherwise have. Our biggest concern, and as you guys can appreciate as elected officials for the most part, is that we're willing to put money in services. We're willing to put money in equipment. We're willing to put money in buildings. We're willing to put money in building a future ambulance service. What we're not wanting to do is burden the next set of commissioners with expenses that they can't handle. We don't want to write a check that the bank won't cash in the future. So we don't want to add a burden of $2 or $3 million to the county's annual budget. And even though we have the money today, 2 or 3 years from now, we won't have that money. So as Andy said, we need to understand what our costs are going to be into the future. And, we think it's going to be someplace north of $3 million. And if that's the case, then we would need to get everybody to buy in. As Adam said, it's relatively easy to get an EMS levy passed, something that people can get their arms around and understand it. But we've got to get all the districts, all the trustees, as much as possible to buy into this and to sell it. We don't want to have any naysayers, if possible, out there, trying to disparage the potential levy that we might have to put on the books for a statewide, for a countywide ambulance service. So we're willing to spend as much as is necessary to create the foundation, to buy the equipment, to put the buildings up, to do whatever we think is necessary to build this strong foundation and to live up to the mission statement. But we're not willing to put a burden on future generations as it relates to expenses that we would create that they would have a difficult time supplying the money for. That's, I don't know if I said that very well, but that's where.
I think you said that perfectly. And then I would like to segue into August meeting and then open it up for comments. So Commissioner Kirschner segues right into our August meeting. Darrin's comments. I know I've talked to almost all of you personally. We are not going to have a meeting in July. We are going to have an in-person meeting in August. And everyone wants to know, Ken brings up all the time, what's our plan? So I would like to have the August meeting and talk about the following, what is our plan? Do we have 2, 3, or 4 squads in the county? What are the costs for these paid squads? How do volunteers fit in? What's the timing of this? Is it 5 years from now? Is it 3 years from now? Where would these squads be located? Who's in, who's out? All those things everybody's curious about. And I think it's time now we all get in the room. I think August is the date we begin this process. And, we'll see where we're at. I think I'm looking forward to that. I know Commissioner Kirschner wanted to do this at the beginning. I'm thinking we're going to do it later than now. But I think with 6 meetings and talking to everybody and the way things are, I think it's just very appropriate that everyone gets in the meeting, because Darrin, back to your point, if we're going to move forward as one district, however that's made up, we need the support and the leadership of everyone on this call. These districts need to, have a seat at the table, which everyone does. And then we all have to be part of the timing of how we get there. And so I'd like to bring that up in August. Does anyone want to add to that discussion? And I think, Steve, you do, if you're on, and there's some others I've talked to. I think it's a great time to bring that up so we can get prepared to have a really productive August meeting. I don't know if he's on. Steve, are you on? Jim Klaus, you want to add anything? I'm picking on you right now.
I guess I'm good right now.
Okay. We had these discussions, right? And we can, there's a lot of questions. Where would we put these buildings? Do we want 2 paid squads, 3 paid squads? What's the cost? And back to Commissioner Kirschner's point, if we continue funding things at the county level as we are, we put money in the dispatch and moving EMS and EMA out of the fairgrounds. We put up some buildings in the county. We do a lot of things like that. We support the transition. That's what we can do as commissioners. And if we're all on the same page, I think we're willing to do that. What the people have to do is fund it long term. So the current funding structure, if we go paid, even paid with volunteers, we're going to have to ask for more money. When does that happen? What is it? How much is it? How do we go about it? Those are things that, we want to at least begin discussions on. And they may be down the road several years, but if we don't talk about them, it's never going to happen. So, but you and I had this discussion, and
yeah, we do have a template, and I think Ken has got some projections, and that certainly is a good place to start in August, because I don't think those numbers are going to be off that much. And we'll be able to start that as the basis of conversation.
All right. Scott, you good? Scott Harrison?
Yeah, I'm good on my end. I'm very supportive of what we're.
Okay. Does everyone know where the old Kroger's is? NCOESC? Does everyone know where that building is? What that acronym stands for? That's where we'd like to have our August meeting. They will open that up to us. It's very conducive to this kind of meeting. We will have some maps of the county, maps of the districts. We'll begin to put an agenda together where it'll be interactive. I'm really, really, really hoping that all 16 of the 5 EMS district board members can be there, that the 3 from Adam, Pleasance, and Green Springs can be there, and that the 3 commissioners can be there for 22 elected officials, all in one room talking EMS. Of course, Ken, Stacy, coordinators, everybody else is welcome, but this will be our meeting, and we will have these kind of discussion. And I think I'm really looking forward to it. Not sure where it's going to go, but I think when we leave that meeting, we'll all feel that we're headed in some more clear direction than we are now. So Commissioner Kirschner, do you have any comments on that August meeting? We've talked about this.
Well, I think it'll just be good to see everybody and get everybody's comments. And it's difficult. This is a difficult format when there are differences of opinion. And I don't think for a minute that we won't continue to have some differences. As I've said from the beginning, every ambulance service is kind of in a different position right now. But this is going to take a lot of give and take, and a lot of people's, including mine, egos, put aside, and coming up with a solution that's best for those people that we serve.
The address, Tony, is 928 West Market Street, Tiffin, Ohio. And it's the North Central Ohio Education Service Center.
Right next door to what used to be the cinemas. I don't even know if they're open now. But
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Let's circle back from each district. Charles from AVR, you're good with everything we talked about for August? You still on there, Charles?
Yeah, Tony?
Yeah. Are you okay with the August meeting and everything, where it is, et cetera?
Will clarify the date for me, the 5th of August, correct?
Yes, sir. Same time.
Okay, at 7 p.m.
Yes, in person.
Yep, let's roll.
And we're counting on you to bring Randy Eichholz and Lynn Love with you.
They'll be there.
Okay.
For sure.
Adam,
Good enough, Tony.
I'm sorry. Good. Adam, how about yourself with Bloom Scipio? Are you good with that date time? I think you're still on there. Yep, you're on there. Adam?
Sorry, I thought you were asking Bloom Scipio. No, I and I was remiss in not thanking Stacy earlier for the info she sent this evening. Stacy.
Hey, good. So you'll be there with Pleasant and Adams Township, Adam.
Correct.
And Adam Lutz, are you on the phone? Are you still on? Can you talk a second, please? Okay, Jim, Klaus, are you good? You and Kevin?
I'm good with it. I don't have anything planned for that date.
Okay. Good date there. Scott, your group okay?
Yeah, we're good with that. August 5th, no problem. We'll be there.
Andy?
Yes, we should be good, at least two of us.
Okay. Great. Appreciate that. And Adam, I see he's on. I'll circle back with Bloom Scipio and we'll be live and it's the 5th. Commissioner Kirschner, I'll yield back to you. I'm good with everything.
Okay, well,
Thank you.
I think I'm the only thing between everybody on the call and everybody getting home to their families. So unless there's anything more, we will call it an evening. God bless everyone, and we look forward to August 5th. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.